everybody. Zac Deane here. Welcome to Biohacking Secrets. It's actually going to be 8 habits to optimize your energy, focus, and results in all areas. As we know, health is wealth. I'll just ask everyone if you could mute your line. That'd be much appreciated. So let's dive straight into this. So for those who don't know me, just a quick little intro. My short story is some of my passions are God, family, health, business, learning, and travel. I was super lucky and fortunate to get to Dubai last year in November and had the best time ever. Short story is that as a young kid, I had a lot of health issues. I had allergies, asthma, acne, a lot of sleep issues. And I was just, in a really bad place. Definitely as a kid, I didn't want to be alive. But luckily, through the right mentorship, through the desire to want to learn and grow, and having the right people around me, I've been super grateful to learn and just sponge. I love learning. I could learn all day, every day, and I love teaching. I feel like the best way to learn something is to teach. And so what I'm going to share with you today are principles that I've utilized in my own life and that I've helped over 1,000 people one-on-one with my previous career around being a health coach. At the age of 17, had my first health mentor because there was a time where I hit rock bottom and I was praying. And I said, if I could get through these health challenges, God, I will then dedicate my whole life to helping other people. And thankfully, I was able to get through my health challenges. And so the other part of the bargain and the deal was, all right, how do I help people? And so that is a whole nother kettle of fish, so to speak, on great. It's one thing to know the information, but then how do you then articulate and empower and share it with others so that they also change their life? And so the intention today is that you guys will leave with one thing from today that you didn't know before, so that you could actually utilize it in your own life to empower and improve your life. And actually the next intention is that you then teach what you learn to other people. I believe in legacy. My YouTube channel has never been about fame or the amount of likes or views or anything like that. It's always been about how can I leave a legacy to my future family to say, who was that Zac guy? And then they can go on there and get a bit of a snapshot of where I've come from and all the experience and as much knowledge as possible. You know, at the end of the day, life is short. It's about the impact. So I started my first YouTube channel in 2013. It's all around co-creating the healthiest and wealthiest people on the planet. I believe health and wealth are the same. And so, little fun fact, I love Muay Thai. I went to Thailand in October and I did the art of 8 limbs. You got elbows, knees, feet, hands, 8 weapons, so to speak. And it was, I've never been in a fight in my whole life. I'm a lover, not a fighter. And it was just a great experience to go to Thailand. I look forward to going back there in a couple of months. And then also I have a non-for-profit event called Broth Night. This is a community sober event where I started with 7 friends in my garage over 5 years ago. Everyone loved it so much that we started doing them every couple of months. And since COVID, we've started them back up again. And so now we get, last one in Manly, we had 60 people. The biggest one we've had is about 120 people. And it's all around empowering people to have fun without alcohol, bone broth, which is great for the gut. And there's also vegetarian options as well, and just fun and music and dance and things like that. So that's really the vision, is to bring community together. So without further ado, let's jump into this. I want to give you guys something straight off the bat. So into the comments, I'm going to give you guys the 28A. This is a document that I'd like everyone to click on and download. It's a free giveaway, so to speak. If everyone goes to the website 28a.club. So feel free to jump into this link, guys. This is literally from the last 10 years, oh gosh, more than that, 12 years now, helping people with health and wellness. I got to the point where I just wanted to keep it simple. I now, a few months ago, created a club, like Fight Club from the movie, but it's called the 28A Club, which is all around 28 actions that you can do. So a month, 28 days of actions, you tick it off, that help us stay accountable and self-accountable to the healthy habits. So we're going to go through this. These are all biohacks, and I'm going to go through the science and the reason why I chose each one. The main concept I want to share with you guys, and feel free to click on that link, go to the website there, which is www.28a.club/join, and you can download that. And everyone who experiences experiences this webinar, I'm happy to give a free biohacking coaching strategy session with as well. So when you go through the free download, just put your details in, you've got a text and an email, and the next page will be a Calendly to book in for a free one-on-one. Because a lot of information I'm going to share today might not be for you, but I want to make sure that each and every one of you tailor the information so that you get the best use of your time. I really respect everyone for being here for the next hour. So I'm going to talk fast because there's a lot to get through. I really would like, if you have questions, feel free to ask questions, open up your mic and have it as a discussion as well. So we're going to start with this concept, which is the mismatch. What does mismatching mean? Now, when you think about matching, what does matching mean? You know, this is us connecting with nature. And this beautiful painting, right? Michelangelo's creation of Adam in the Sistine Chapel. We've probably seen this before. And this is how I want to bring you guys into my view on how I see the world and health in this equation of how do we be the healthiest versions of ourselves. I believe that humanity and the human race is so close, so close to getting it right. And we are so close and getting it so wrong as well. So what do I mean by that? There is this separation, there's this disconnection, there's a dislocation from the truth, and there's a lot of fads, confusion, distractions, procrastination for many reasons. We're not going to go into the problem, but we get it. We're so close. Put a yes into the chat if you believe we're very close, but also very far. So this is what we call mismatching. We have a cube and we're trying to push it through a cylinder. It's mismatch. It just doesn't work. And so in society, when you think about the mismatching, there's pharmaceuticals, processed meats, sugars, coffee, fake light at the gym, sunglasses, all these different things here, guys, right? Smoking, sitting on the couch, watching telly, right? Wearing shoes, not grounding. These are the fundamentals. And so mismatching looks like this. If you went to a party or you went to a wedding and you wore this, you'd be like, who is this person, right? They're not matching with the crowd because it looks odd. It's weird. Yeah. This is what's happening. Now, when it's weird, the body, this is exactly what's happening to the body. It's confused. And when the body's confused and it's not matching with nature and the principles of the universe and God, we get sick. And so this is what people are doing. They're walking around mismatching. So close, yet so far. For example, an orchestra. Has anyone been to an orchestra before or a beautiful live concert? The music, the symphony, it's just unbelievable. We have the Sydney Opera House in Australia, right? In Sydney. But what if you put a car horn, honk, 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 in the room? It's going to sound incredibly annoying and frustrating, and you'll leave. You know, there's a few people in the front row, they've left. So this is what's happening to our body, and we don't even know it. So I'm going to share with you what we're doing that is so close yet so far. So these are the mismatch. Have you ever played a puzzle and found two pieces, and it's the final couple of pieces of the puzzle, or it's the beginning of the puzzle, and you're like, I just want these to go together. But it doesn't. It mismatches. There's no harmony. That's what's happening. Society is creating disharmony and dis-ease in ways that we don't even think about. Right now, what we're doing in this moment is causing more inflammation. Even just looking at this screen, this is where I have the blue blockers on. This is where I have I have the lights on. It's nighttime right now. I'm mismatching from nature. This is causing a shift in my circadian rhythm and sleep. I'll stop it at that rather than ranting. This is what I think of the mismatching. One of my favorite emojis is this. I don't know what your favorite emoji is. Whatever your favorite emoji is, actually, please put it into the comments. I'd love to know. This is my favorite emoji. I use it all the time. Whenever I make a mistake or I just forget something, or this is just how I think society, the world, just. So there is a solution and there is a choice. Just like in the movie The Matrix. Who's seen the movie The Matrix? Please put a yes into the chat. One of my favorite movies / documentaries, right? Because it talks a lot of truth. In the scene, Morpheus offers Neo two options, and he offers him choice, a red pill or a blue pill. And so it's in my opinion that the blue pill is the mismatch. The donuts, the cigarettes, the not grounding, the alcohol, putting on fat, not sleeping well, feeling depressed, all the mental health issues. That's because and all the work. the hamster wheel of life, is because it's the blue pill. We're mismatching. But what if I gave you a red pill? What's the other side? What does that look like? Well, in my opinion, why I'm here, I'm the Morpheus in this equation, right? And I'm offering you guys a solution, a choice, where these 8 strategies that we're going to share and dive into are ways to harmonize and connect with nature and the first principles of physics, chemistry, biology, quantum science, and how we can actually empower our health in the easiest, most cost-effective way. It sounds too good to be true, but just stay with me. So remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. This is a quote from the Matrix. Now, we're going to cover 8 different biohacks, and then I'm going to invite you guys to something really special. And I've already mentioned it as well. Everyone here gets a free biohacking one-on-one session as well. So the reasons why I chose the following principles are this. So I studied at the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in 2015, and we studied 100 different dietary theories, holistic, many alternative theories. And within that, I had to pass my certification, was to coach people. And I found myself loving the coaching. And I was like, this is incredible. I didn't even see myself as wanting to be a health coach. I just loved learning it for myself. But then I just found that I loved teaching. So I found myself coaching over 1,000 people. This is through the network marketing companies that I've been a part of and the thousands and thousands of people that I've worked with, plus the people from my YouTube channel, plus the people that are from my events. Like, it's probably over 1,000. And then personally, through those interactions, I realized very, very quickly there were patterns of how to be healthy and there were patterns of how to be unhealthy. And so I put in thousands of hours in research. I'm the type of person that would rather watch a documentary or listen to a podcast than watch a normal Netflix movie, for example. I love learning. My friends are like, "Could you just stop learning? You know, like, it's too much. It is intense, but it's kind of like an addiction. And it's probably some masking of some trauma when I was younger, right? Wanting to fit in, be special, be loved. That's my own journey. So 4 years of implementation. So once I started learning these principles, I started implementing them. And I say this back in 2019, the beginning of halfway through 2019, I started implementing these strategies, and it completely changed every area of my health. And it wasn't exercise and it wasn't food. So I'm just putting on the list of priorities, guys. Most of these tips that you'll see in the download, there's no food on there. It is at least 9th on the list for me personally. You know, these are the 8 that you can do for free and easy tonight or tomorrow that are going to impact your health. They're all about implementation, and it doesn't require going to the gym and smashing yourself, and it doesn't require following a certain diet. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, also the path least traveled. I've always realized in life that if I keep doing what most people are doing, I'm going to end up like most people, right? If I keep hanging out with stressed and depressed and poor people, I'm going to end up like that. So what I'm going to share with you today are strategies that most society do not do. And that's why most of society is sick. So I really feel like this is the red pill, so to speak, and it's going to give you a foundation that is going to be solidified, understanding of things you probably already do, and then fill in a couple of the pieces of the puzzle for you. Also, there's an limited industry for the following. What I'm going to share with you are fundamental first principles of how our body works. And a lot of what we've been taught about health and wellness is an industry to sell us as a consumer. So a lot of what I'm going to share with you, there's limited industry. That's why we might not hear about what I'm going to share with you. And based on the first principles, these are all based on first principles, which are the governing laws of the irrefutable facts and science of how our body works. God's law and the laws of the universe. So that's to give you a bit of context. Put a yes into the chat if you're excited to jump into this. You're like, Zac, hurry up. I'm super excited. Please put a yes in the chat. I love the energy. So what is biohacking? Okay. What is biohacking? Biohacks consist of making small incremental changes to your biology and lifestyle, which makes meaningful improvements in your health, well-being, and results. Let's break this down. Consistent implementation of changes to your biology and lifestyle that make meaningful improvements. So small, very, very small. How do you eat an elephant, for example? One bite at a time. So these are simple bite-sized chunks that we can implement no matter how busy you are, how stressed you are. These are going to help everyone with their health. So what if instead of biohacking, it was bioharmonization? That might sit with you differently. The word hacking, even for me, is a bit rough. I don't want health to be rough, right? This is around harmony, joy, ease. And so that's what I want to share with you guys today is harmonization, biology and harmonizing neurobiology. So if we don't bring harmony to our biology, what will humans look like in year 3000? Have you ever thought about this? In 1,000 years from now, what will we look like? Who here has heard of Mindy? Right? Terrifying model shows what humans may look like in the year 3000. This is a result of technology. Look at the claw. Look at her posture. Look at her head and her brow. This is like, and her eyes. This is the sad and confronting truth if we keep going down this way, right? So this is the importance of biohacks to allow us to harmonize back into our natural state so that we stay healthy for longer. So how do you solve this horrific future for ourselves, your family, and humanity? One is the awareness, and then two, do the opposite. So one, the awareness of the problem. And what is the problem? The problem is that most people are not facing the real issue. We're distracting ourselves. Technology, work, porn, money, stress, whatever that out is, it's distracting us, right? And we're looking for the answers in the wrong place, pretty much. So let me give you an example. Please, in the chat, this is a question for everyone. So if, for example, the lights went out in your house right now, all the lights went out, or in this building, all the lights went out, what's the solution? What do? Do you, one, go and change all the light bulbs, right? The light's out, the electricity's out. I'm going to go change all the light bulbs. Do I do that? One. Or number two is I'm going to go to the electrical box in the building, the electrical box in my house, figure out the mains. Put a one into the chat if it's one, put a two into the chat if it's two. So the answer is the solution is simpler than you think. The solution is to look deeper, right? So the answer is number two, right? That's the whole point of that, is that most people are looking for and changing the problem of like, oh, the light isn't working, but not looking that little bit deeper to the real truth. For example, if you get a magnifying glass or a microscope and you look at your hand, what's going to happen? What are you made of? It's option one is you're made of pure physical matter. I'm just made of skin and bone. Or number two, I'm made of pure energy. Which one do you relate with? Are we just physical, or are we also made of pure energy? Put one or two in there. We are made, in my opinion, full of energy, right? You go deeper, 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 deeper. We are just energy through consciousness, magnetism, electricity, electromagnetism. We are just energy. Yeah. One of my mentors or I guess idols is, if we want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, vibration, Nikola Tesla. And I love this quote as well. The day science begins to study the non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in 1 decade than all the previous centuries of its existence. So the burning question is, what is the fastest path to results? We now know, let's go a little bit deeper. We're not just going to change the light bulb. We're going to go to the electrical box. Let's go to that. And we know now that we're not just physical, we know that we're made of energy. So then, knowing that, how do we get the quickest results, Zac? Tell me. I'm going to give it to you. So the solution is biohacking, aka bioharmonization. This is the quickest results, the smallest actions to create the biggest results. This is why I believe everyone here is a biohacker. They've been utilizing technology, supplements, movement exercises, breathing exercises, lifestyle changes to make sure that you get the most out of your life, right? So we are already biohacking. We're already bioharmonizers already. My grandma used to have a red light when she was my age, right? Red lights have been around for a long time. Cold therapy, jumping into the ocean, right? Cold therapy. These are things that people have done forever. They just didn't really know that they were biohacking. If you think of your phone, right? This is a kind of a biohack in itself. It's technology, and I use this to learn 24/7. So we are already biohacking. Now it's like refining that so that we maximize the results. So what does health mean to you? Please jump into the chat. What does health mean to you? Maybe just one word. Is it energy? Is it peace? Is it vitality? Is it comfort? Is it, or maybe it's pain, suffering? Like, what does health mean to you? It's a headache or a lot of effort. What does health mean to you? So, or in another way of looking at it is to uncover what slows down the flow of energy, electromagnetism through your body. identify the problem and do the opposite, right? So we spoke about our body's energy. We want to identify the problem and then do the opposite. That's a good start, at least one strategy. So the question is, what slows down the flow of energy, electromagnetism through your body right now? What is reducing the flow of energy? Right now, you're probably wearing clothes that are made out of synthetic materials. Did you know that cotton, organic cotton, is one of the highest frequency clothes that you could wear? Why do you think the people back in the day wore just white gowns? It wasn't just to look angelic. It was also, it changed their etheric bioresonance of their body. The clothes you're wearing right now are slowing down your electrical charge. The thoughts, the words, our actions every day are all interlinked. Would you agree that there's areas of improvement for our health? Yes. So the question is, what slows down the flow of energy? Electromagnetism, electricity and magnetism, which is what our body is made out of with our torus field, through the body. Let's figure out the problem first, right? So there's 5 key areas for reduction in the electromagnetism of your body. Write these down. Thyroid. T3 controls the voltage of every cell membrane and total number of mitochondria in the body. And T2 is the function of the mitochondria. So the thyroid is super important. In Chinese medicine, they say if you eat the organ of the animal, say you had lung issues, so eat the organs of animals and that will help your lungs. If you have brain issues, eat the brain, kidneys, lungs, liver. That's an interesting thought. Recently here in Tasmania, one of the cows got slaughtered. And so we had the actual opportunity to pick and choose the organs that we wanted to eat. So we ate the thyroid. We ate these organs, the liver. I know this is quite shocking, but this is medicine. These are things that most people aren't doing, and we're doing them. But it's really worth it. So thyroid is number 1. Thyroid's super important. Look into thyroid for our electrical voltage. If you have scar tissue in the body, there's a bunch of tissues that are stopping the electrical charge. Like if this is a scar, there's not going to be much movement through that. There's not much energy. So scar tissue, as it heals, it will slow the electrical voltage. If you've got injuries, right, this will impact the cellular voltage through that area. Looking at your teeth, one root canal tooth shuts down 60% of your immune system. This is by Dr. Jerry Tennant. We're going to talk about him today. His book, Healing is Voltage. So teeth, so important. Maintain your teeth at all costs. Don't get them removed. Go to see an alternative integrative dentist rather than a normal dentist. They're just going to want to pull it out and blah, blah, blah. So teeth are vital. These are the electrical box of the house, electrical box of the building are our teeth. Did we just skip one? Yeah. So 4 are our emotions. The body is an orchestra. If one instrument is out of tune, mismatching, it impacts the whole song. Each emotion is a frequency and gets stored in different organs. Looking at anxiety is the spleen. Joy helps the heart. Sadness impacts the lung. Anger, liver, fear, kidneys. Chinese medicine, right? It's been around for thousands of years. It's fascinating. We're looking at different organs have different functions. Obviously, different organs have different functions, and different emotions and thoughts have a frequency, and they get stored in different areas. So, for example, the fear that I might feel about something from my childhood or trauma or right now in my life, that frequency is a certain wavelength. It's a certain frequency that can be measured, and that correlates with the liver. So this is a direct correlation. So people, yes, liver issues from drinking and liver issues from fatty foods, sure, and emotions as well. So this is vitally important. What organs do you have issues with right now, or what friends and family do you have that have organ issues? Maybe, just maybe, actually definitely, it's coming from an emotional pattern of how we think, how we speak, and our actions every day. So emotions, that's just a visual representation. If you guys want to look that up as well, emotions, organs, Chinese medicine. We're then looking at the human energy field. This is a study called Kirlian photography. A person who's sick might have, on the left there, have holes in their aura. Someone who's a healthy person in the middle has a strong, stable aura, right? This is measured. This is not woo-woo. This is all science these days. So this can be seen in Kirlian photography. Absolutely mind-blowing. Our magnetic field, right? Our heart is super powerful. They say through the Heart Math Institute that our heart will register before our brain. and before our gut feeling. And so the heart is incredibly powerful. So toxins, these also get in the way. Fluoride from our teeth, going to the service station, filling up our gas, the smell of petrochemicals, canned food, preservatives, using knife and fork when we're cooking or cutting our food on the plate, the metal is coming off and we're eating heavy metal from our knives and forks. The clothes that we're wearing with the detergents or the hair products or pesticides, herbicides, the paint in the room here with the door, with this wall, might have fire retardants, whether it's cigarettes, whether we're eating a lot of fish, farmed foods, GMO foods, certain injections, medication. Anyway, the list goes on and on and on. We are all battling toxins. Yeah. So this is a dramatic impact to our health. I live a cleansing lifestyle. I do what I can, herbs, vitamins, minerals, foods that help my body cleanse as much as possible. We are inundated. Babies now are born with hundreds of toxins, more than any time in history. Plastic water bottles, all these things. It's just wild. So the sixth one are toxic people. Whether it's the emotions they have or the trauma, or whether they're out to get you, or whether it's, in my opinion, some people have an energetic discrepancy, whether it's maybe an entity or a spirit or whatever your beliefs are. We only see 1% of the light spectrum. Right now, there's Wi-Fi going through the room. There's radio waves. There's gamma rays. There's different radiation going through the room right now. We can't see it. We can only see 1% of the light spectrum. So maybe there are other things interfering here. And so let me tell you this. So as you guys have downloaded that, just a quick little check-in, download that. I recommend printing it out, put it on your fridge, maybe give it to some friends as an accountability partner. Make it public, right? If you want to hashtag 28A Club, and also give this 110%. If you can do this every day for 28 days, I will guarantee it that your health will be astronomically better, 100%, because they're all fundamental, simple practices that majority of people aren't doing. Unfortunately, my wish is that everyone does this as a bare minimum every single day. So the question is, what will create more energy in your body? We just spoke about the 6 areas that deplete the electrical field. Obviously, a couple of others there that I didn't mention around our clothes, right? Our thoughts, the words we speak, et cetera, et cetera. But the question is, what will create more energy in your body? Here's the red pill, right? It's the 28A. This is literally, we're going to go through sunlight, hydration, focus. We're going to talk about movement, grounding, how to grow the brain and why that's important, cold therapy, and light hygiene. So to me, these are the quickest, most effective, most cost-effective ways of improving your energy through your entire body, more than food and more than exercise. I'll explain why. So let's jump into it. Biohack number 1, sunlight. Let's think about sunlight, right? How do you feel when you go on holiday and you sit in the sun? You feel recharged. You feel calm. You probably eat less. You sleep better because of the sunlight. But why is that? Well, here's a funny little fact. Here's a joke. Do you know why Superman and Superwoman are so powerful? Because they hang out at the sun all the time. No, I'm just kidding. This is just a little joke. But they are super powerful. And I've noticed the more sunlight that I get, and when I hone in on a couple of other things that I'll share with you today, I feel stronger. My brain is functioning more effectively. I sleep deeper. I don't have to train as hard at the gym, or when I do, I recover quicker. My tan is better. And they say with more melanin, more tan in your body gets rid of heavy metals more effectively, right? Just from the melanin in the skin. And so a lot of Australia, a lot of the world is afraid of the sun, but what most people do is sunscreen and slip, slop, slap, and, cover ourselves up. Now, if you have fair skin, that's fair enough. But if you have darker skin, you need more sun. If you're black, if you have a lot of dark pigment, you need 4 times more sun than myself or someone else who's lighter than you. So the key here is looking at the amount of sun that we're getting. Now, just go online. You can check this out. 2013, October 15, vitamin D, sun, and cancer, right? The evidence is building more and more and more and the realization that vitamin D, the sun, is incredible at supporting the bioenergetic field and the body. You can check out this study at thinkbig.com/articles, etc., at the bottom. So please do your own research, but you'll see that there's just a growing evidence of this. And one of my mentors, Dr. Jack Cruz, I had the pleasure of interviewing him 3 times. You can check it out on my YouTube channel. And he said, imagine this, okay? Imagine you have a tree and you put a tarp, like a plastic tarp over it to stop the rain. If you have a tree, put a tarp over it, what happens? Well, eventually the tree is going to die because it doesn't have sun. So what do humans do? We put, what is this? This is my jumper right now. This is a tarp. Clothes, tarp. Pants, tarp. I'm not saying be naked all the time, but I am saying that we're wearing clothes too much. We need to take our clothes off, sit in the sun more than we are right now. So what does the match with nature look like? Let's take a look. So when you think about it, in the morning, on the left-hand side, you've got 6 a.m. On the right-hand side, you've got 6 p.m. In the middle, 12 o'clock. Can you see the sun coming up in a red light, coming into more of the top here, 6,500 K, which is 6,500 Kelvin, the measurement of light. And it comes back down. It's like a frequency. Do you see this? This wave pattern. Life and God's fingerprint, the universal fingerprint, it's all seen in nature, these fractals. It's fascinating. And so in the morning, here's a little tip. Actually, I'll get into it when we talk about phones and how to reduce the toxicity from our phones. But the key here is that we want to see and rise, be awake with the sun, rise with the sun, and go down with the sun, right? This is how our circadian rhythm works, is up with the sun, down with the sun. And specifically getting the red light, this is something people don't know about the sun, is that in that AM period, see how it's red and orange, and then in the middle of the day, it's this white or blue light. It's just a white light spectrum. We get so much benefit from the red light. It's in the sunset, it's in the sunrise. Now, we need this more than ever because we're inundated from blue light. We'll talk about blue light later. But the visible light spectrum, as you can see here on the left, is the blue side. And then we've got on the right side, the red light. This is a study done showing the impact and the depth of the blue light versus the red light. So on the red light, the subcutaneous layer, the red light, 800 nanometer, is going deep. And then you got the red light, it's going less deep, and the blue light on the side. So the red light penetrates deeper into the body compared to blue light. Why is that? So the red light will go in and it will create collagen and elastin and help wrinkles. It helps recovery from injuries or the gym, or just overall. We're going to talk about water in a moment and why structured living water is so important, and how the light that we're getting impacts our electrical voltage as well. So light, we are what we eat, and we are the light that we're exposed to. And food are just packets of light when you think about it. So when you look at red light therapy, okay, this relieves pain, it increases recovery time, it balances hormones. How many people these days are looking for IVF, wanting to have artificial insemination? So many people. It's a massive industry. It's so sad because most people, not all, but most people are just sunlight deficient. Sunlight dramatically, specifically red light, helps the hormones. When we have better hormones, we feel stronger. It slows down the aging process. It reduces inflammation. It lowers our weight, right? Now, I could talk about red light for a long time, but 4 years ago, my health mentor, Jason Borden-Smith, unfortunately he passed away a couple of years ago, but he was my mentor around quantum biology. He was a good friend of Dr. Jack Cruz, and he taught me a lot. And he had a company called Mito HQ, and that's where I got my first blue blockers, which we'll talk about later, my first red light panels, which I'll talk about now, as well as EMF meters, and he also had deuterium depleted water. So he spoke to me about the benefits of red light, and every day, or not every day, every moment I could, I'd go hang out with him at Coogee Beach in Sydney. I'd drive from Manly, which was like a good half an hour, 45-minute drive, just to make sure that I'd spend time with him and pick his brains around red light and mitochondria and biohacking. And he said, look, I will only have a meeting with you if you take your shoes off take your shirt off. We're going to go stand on the water's edge of the beach, and we're going to see the sunrise. So be there before sunrise and we'll hang out. Otherwise, don't bother. So we started doing it, and it was really hard to get up that early. I'm not going to lie with you, but it was so worth it. The knowledge that I experienced, the stories, the insights, and just the health benefits, it really connected the dots for me. So if you look at this image, how red light therapy works. On the left side, as we age, we produce less collagen, which results in the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. Red light therapy, sunlight, or even panels these days with the right nanometer, it goes deep into the dermis layer and it stimulates cells that produce collagen, right? It's when someone's, a baby's young and their skin is all plump and all young looking, that's because they have a lot of collagen and elastin. So new collagen moves to the surface of the skin, reducing fine lines and wrinkles. So as we age, we have more wrinkles because we have less collagen and elastin. To increase the collagen production, this will then smooth the wrinkles and reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. So this is light, right? No cream, no Botox, right? This is light. You can go to beauty parlors now and get a red light therapy session, or in saunas, red light therapy, or blue light. Blue light reduces acne and helps with bacteria. The technical term is photobiomodulation, right? This is where sunlight here, as you can see, comes down into the mitochondria. It helps the ATP production, which is just another word for the gasoline for our cells, gives our cells more energy. So this is the technical term for red light therapy is photobiomodulation, right? Someone says to you, why do you do the sunrise? You're like, well, it's all the photobiomodulation, which is just light modulation, right? So just to cap it off, strategy number 1, sunlight. Get 15 to 30 minutes of sun on your bare skin. Ideally sunrise and sunset. Why? Because it's more of the red light. As you can see here with the download, and I'll put it in the chat in a minute for those of you who have just joined us now, there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can tick that off. This is a tick active working document, yeah? And so that's step number 1, get 15 to 30 minutes of sun, bare skin, ideally sunrise and sunset. Cool? Who's excited? Put the word excited into the chat if you're excited to start doing this or continue to do this and start being accountable to this amazing health hack. So let's talk about biohacking number 2. Biohacking number 2 is all around hydration, to hydrate. Think about our body. It's made of water, but it's not everyday water. It's not from the tap. It's living, crystallized liquid crystals in our body. This is one of the most important topics right now, other than sunlight. Now, why is water important? Let's look at this for a second. If you go onto YouTube and you type in saltwater battery DIY tutorial, you'll see this video, and I've just taken screenshots. Think about it like this. These are 4 glasses, 4 plastic cups, with the electrodes in there, and what happens is they put water and salt. So that's a half a teaspoon or tablespoon of salt with some water, and they connect it to a battery and light, and instantly it connects light. It powers a battery and a powered battery light. Does that make sense? So it's not plugged into the mains. There's no solar. There's no generator. There's no other batteries other than salt water. Let that land. This is called free energy. Salt, it's probably in your cupboard. Water, it's in the tap. You can power a light bulb. Dramatic pause. No, this is important, guys. That's really important. So batteries, water. Let me just take a sip of water while we're at it. Make sure you guys sip some water too. Alrighty. So think of water as a battery. All the water in your body is energy. It's unutilized energy most of the time. And if we think about water as energy and as a battery, we need to ask ourselves the question, is all water made equal? Is all water, is the rainforest waterfall the same water that I get out here in the tap outside at the farm? No, it's not. Most places, unfortunately, there are heavy metals, contaminations, old pipes, bacteria, all the things, right? Depending on where you live, some water is better than others. So where is the mismatch when we think about it? Well, this is the mismatch. The mismatch is all the contaminants in the water. It looks kind of gross. Yeah. And have you ever been traveling, gone to an Airbnb or hotel and you've had a shower and you smell the chlorine? Or you just like, oh, this is not very nice. Or you've had a drink of water and you can smell it. I'm a bit of a water snob these days. I'm very specific with the water that I drink because we aren't just 70% water. We're probably more up to even 90% in our cells. There's so much water that we're just like a little bit of, physical mass. So this is not matching with nature, but this is what most of society, a lot of these pipes sometimes are hundreds of years old in the cities. So what does harmonization look like? What does the matching look like? Well, look at this. Naturally, you look at that. There's harmony there. Yeah. So the question is then, how do we filter the toxins out of the water? Here's my 3-step system on how to make the best water I know of in our modern day society. And if you're not doing this, this would be like the number one thing after the sunrise stuff that I just mentioned. This is the next step for you, 100%. For one, this is like a $300 filter, $300, cheap. It filters out fluoride. It filters out chlorine. It connects to an everyday tap. If you don't have the right tap, change the tap faucet and get this. This is a massive investment, okay? Because chlorine in a pool will kill the bacteria. And chlorine on our body when we shower will kill the bacteria as well. And so we need a shower filter too. I haven't put that in here, but definitely need a shower filter. That's about $100. This is about 300. This is Australian, very affordable. But then the next step is if you think about all the water going through the pipes, there's all these right angles, and there's no right angles in nature, okay? The key here is to then restructure the water using what's called a vortex, okay? So I bought one of these about 3 years ago, and what this does is you put the water in the top. It's portable, so I like to travel a lot, and I want to make sure I'm healthy when I travel. And so I bought this. You can buy a home unit. They're a few thousand. This was like 500 US, but I put the water in the top, and it spirals down with different ball bearings and even crystals, and it spirals a vortex. Now, in nature, when water's going through the river, it's spinning, it's going through the rocks, it's jumping, it's falling, things like that. Not jumping, that'd be weird, but it goes down the river. And so this mimics that, and that changes the frequency. For example, if you have water in a water bottle and it's sitting there for a day, a week, a month, it's stagnant water. There's no energy in it. So with my water bottle, you put your salt in there, lemon, cucumber for the electrolytes, that's always recommended, and you shake the bottle. You give it life and it changes the frequency. And you can also put it through this to re-vortex it. So I also have the filter that I just showed you. I also have a Berkey filter too, which is just put water in the top, it filters it. And then I put it through this and it restructures the water. Then the addition to this, the next structure is through, I actually haven't put it in here. The number 3 is to then add in molecular hydrogen. I've had different machines, $6,000 machines that create hydrogen, but it had alkalinity. And I noticed over time my gut wasn't the best drinking alkaline water. Our gut is a certain acid pH. And so we shouldn't drink alkaline water all the time. Sometimes I guess it's okay. So I also have a portable bottle that creates hydrogen. And I put it in there when I travel through the structured water and filtered it. And I put it in there. And hydrogen is the number 1 element on the periodic table. Most people are deficient in hydrogen. This is like 5-6 years ago, I've been drinking hydrogen. And I noticed my gut health is cleaner, my mental clarity, my mental fog is gone, my skin is better, like the absorption is there too. So these are just 3 layers of the equation. If anyone wants that bottle that I was mentioning, I have a portable bottle for the hydrogen. Just send me a message, or I'll email everyone all the links to this stuff, and I'll be able to break it down for you there as well. There are other things to water that I really want to mention here as well. How to increase energy in your cells with structured, easy water. This is the next layer of structuring your water. So we're looking here at the 4th phase of water. We have solid. Usually when you think of water, you've got solid, which is like ice. You've got liquid, normal water, and you've got vapor. These are the 3 phases of water. But Dr. Jared Pollack figured out the 4th phase. If you look at the bottom here of the book, the most significant scientific discovery of this century. I'm going to share something with you. This is amazing. So these are the 3 different, and then the 4th one. the fourth phases of water. You've got here ice, we get it. Water, we get it. Vapor, we get it. But there's this easy water. Easy water stands for exclusion zone, and it's formed when sunlight, a certain nanometer of light spectrum, hits water. It creates a fourth phase of water, and it creates more electrical charge. It creates more energy. It creates more potential in your body. It heals your body. When you sit in the sun, go on holiday, the sunrise, sunset, this heals your body and slows down the aging clock because of this exact fact. It's called easy water. So it's like a gelatinous, it's more of a thick gel, okay? The power of frequency. Yeah, so that's the hydrogen bottle that I have. Now I have a portable one as well, and that allows me to have the best quality water. I feel super hydrated. Anytime I have bottled water and normal water, I notice that my lips are dry, my skin's dry, all the things. So to add to this, Dr. Masaru Emoto. Have you guys heard of this guy? He created a book, he wrote a book, The Hidden Messages in Water, and he started talking, and he had a study done around water. And the intention and the words on water, he froze it and then sliced it and looked at it under a microscope. And he found that certain words, certain intentions created a different outcome in the water. Peace, eternal, truth. Under the microscope, these were the beautiful geometric shapes. So how amazing is this? Look at the bottom. Evil, you make me sick. These were the words on the water before it was frozen and the intention given to that water. Now, have a think about this. This is another example. If you have two glasses, one both with rice in it and water, and you put I love you on one and I hate you on the other, after 27 days, you go up to the love one and you say, I love you, rice. You're the champion rice of the world. You're the best tasting rice ever. I love you, rice. It will look like that after 27 days. If you go to the other one and say, I hate you, rice. You're the worst rice ever. I don't know how you could ever call yourself rice. I hate you, right? All the negative stuff. After 27 days, that's what it looks like. You can do this at home. Why does this make sense? What am I actually talking about here, Zach? How many of us look at ourselves in the mirror and say, oh, how ugly. Oh, I'm not smart. Oh, I'm dumb. I hate myself, or I'm sad. And how many people do that in the mirror? Or even just thinking on the way to work, or even right now, whatever the time is. Our thoughts create a vibration and it ripples into the water of our body. So right now, if we're not thinking loving, positive, amazing thoughts, we're aging ourselves. Let's let that land. So my wish is that everyone wakes up with these amazing, empowered thoughts that we start to consciously say to ourselves internally. And if we say them to ourselves internally, what's going to happen? It will ripple out into every other interaction with people. And so this is an inside job, right? So simply your thoughts, the observer effect, which we'll go through in a minute, which is a quantum experiment, impacts water, whether it's external or internal, and your body and your life, every area. The thoughts, words, and actions ripple into every area. Proverbs, one of my favorite proverbs. I'm slowly reading the Bible. Lots of great wisdom in there. It's quite hard to understand. I listen to videos and podcasts and stuff, but this is it's a lifelong philosophy and God's word. So death and life are in the power of the tongue. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Amazing philosophy here. So, and that's true. There's power in words, right? The saying is, sticks and stones may break my bones and words will never harm me. Well, that's a lie. It's sticks and stones will break my bones and words will break me, really. Words are the missing link. Yeah. So it's life and death. Words will create life and death. And so this is where we just be super conscious, start becoming more conscious of this. And this is why I added it to the 28-day checklist. Now, under hydration, drink half a liter of filtered, structured as best quality water, a bit of salt, lemon, cucumber in there, whatever it is with electrolytes. That helps you. And this is ideally before breakfast. Yeah. A lot of people get up, they have their coffee and eat their breakfast. And that's super dehydrating and putting a lot of pressure on the digestive system immediately. I suggest, from all the thousands of people I've helped, start drinking just half a liter. If it's half a liter is too much, start with a couple of glasses of water before having your coffee and your cereals or whatever you're having. So it's super important to hydrate. And if you can have the best quality water with what we shared today. Biohack number 3. I'm going to keep rocking it, guys. So let me share this with you. Biohack number 3 is focus. Focus. Who knows what focus stands for? Put it into the chat. Who knows the acronym? I love this acronym. I don't know where I got it from, but I love it. So what does focus stand for? Follow one course until successful. Follow one course until successful. Now, why is this important? Why is focus important? What are you talking about, Zach? Well, what is the benefit of focus? When you think about focus as a biohack, what is the benefit? Well, the benefit is that it compresses time. It speeds up whatever it is that you're doing. If you want to get the result, you can speed up and compress time through focus. Our most valuable resource is our time, right? And so I want to share with you 2 quantum experiments. I'm not an expert on these, but you would have experienced these in your life, and I'll give you some examples, and this will make sense, and why this is important as a biohack. So Thomas Young was part of the origin of this experiment, the double slit experiment. If you go on YouTube and type in Dr. Quantum, double split experiment, or double split experiment fully explained, there's some great videos. Short, sharp, to the point. This will explain them a lot better than myself. But you can see this in nature. If you have 2 balls and you push them down on the water, it will create a pattern in the water. This is in nature. We see this. You can try this. You can see this in light. These are the slits in the middle. As light goes through those 2 slits, the light hits into each other and ricochets and goes into those extra layers or extra lines on the right-hand side. What are you talking about, Zach? Who cares? What does this mean? Well, what it means is that as we focus on something, as we put energy, as we share, as we speak, right, as we're moving in a certain direction, the energy there's inertia, there's a momentum, and there's an energy that pushes with us. Yeah, you know, when someone comes into a room, you can feel their energy. Yeah, this is people's energetic field. And so why is this important? Well, it backs onto the observer effect. And so this is an amazing experiment, and it explains something that I can't really understand, but I kind of feel it. And you may have heard of the quote, which is, what we focus on expands. This is a great little paper, generation of thought particles, gravitons. So this is, if you want to do a bit of geeking out, which I like to do, you can check this out. So simply, we need a large amount of energy to form our thought waves to create enough thought particles to finally transform our imagination into reality, right? We need a lot of energy to do that. So in order to make your own dream world a real place, we should think with high frequency and a lot of it consistently. The more we imagine, the more probability there is that our thoughts will transform in real world one day, maybe today. What does that mean? Visualization, thinking, speaking, acting, writing down, sharing it, making conscious effort of bringing our visions and dreams into reality. If we keep doing them, is there a higher probability that they're going to happen? Yes. If we focus on these habits of bringing whatever those thoughts and dreams we have into this reality over and over and over and over again, consistently with persistence over a long period of time, is there a high probability that that'll happen? Yes. Yeah. This is the power of focus. The problem is that most people are so distracted. They're not observing one thing over a period of time. They're seeing their notifications. They're doing this. They're doing that. And me included, right? This is the dance of life, the battle for our attention. Social media, right? These are the things that are added stresses for our life, and they take away from the power of focus. When a small group of people come together on a specific outcome and work together in a mastermind, they can change the world, right? You've probably heard similar quotes. This is true. And this is because of what's called the observer effect. When there is a yacht or a canoe, and you've got multiple people in a canoe or a row club, right? What do you call those? Yeah. And they're rowing, and there's all the men, all the women there, and they're rowing in the right direction, all at the same, with the rudders going boom, boom. And they're so fast, right? They're just like shooting through. That's because they're in unison and they're all focusing, and there's teamwork. And so that's similar to what we have the capability to do today. When we all work together in a similar direction, we can change and move mountains. Would you agree? This is also through what's called the observer effect, and it's the quantum experiment. Let me read this. This is a quantum theory which concludes that just by observing, an observer can change the very thing they are looking at, just through observation. It suggests that the impact on an object's surrounding environment leads to a reaction and change in behavior by that object. So what does this mean? It sounds like a bit woo-woo, right? But you can check this out. This is a real experiment. So when, for example, they figured this out when scientists were observing the experiment, and they were there, their eyeballs, they were actually there studying the outcome. The outcome was different compared to when they left the room and didn't observe. Let me explain. Here's a little image on the left-hand side. The puppet from Sesame Street. So he's looking away, right? He's looking over here. It's like if I was doing a webinar and looking over here and speaking to the wall, the energy is just different, right? It's distracted. So what does that mean? The particles, just like with the double slit experiment that I showed you with the water and the light, the energy and the light particles and the waves, they get dispersed on that second plank with all those lines. That's because the focus was not directed in one direction. So yeah, this man in the middle here is looking away. Before observation, wave spreads out over space and time. So this is a change in the physical structure of our reality through not observing something. It's like the Matrix and the universe that we live in. If we're not observing it, then there's more possibility. There's infinite possibilities, right? Because the energy of this hologram and how this holographic universe looks is that if we're not looking at it, then it just operates in quantum superposition and operates in its own laws. Similarly, if we were to then look with this puppet, right, looking at the experiment, do you see on that second row, it's focused in on those two areas. So let's go back. From many alternatives, looking away, infinite possibility, to then looking at the experiment on two specific areas, you see the energy just like focused. That's the power of the observer effect. When you have multiple people doing one thing, it's going to be greater as well. So at the time of observation, particles localize space-time event. So what does this mean? This means that when we focus on something, literally the physical construct of this reality changes. And if we follow one course until successful, there's a higher probability, right? Nothing's guaranteed, but there's a higher probability that you're going to achieve it or find that outcome. Would you agree? Here's a funny joke. Pharmaceutical drug trial tests. Our trials show that the new drug performs no better than placebo. The guys say, maybe we should invest in placebos. Now, let's dive into placebos and nocebo for a second. Placebo effect. The placebo effect is when a person has a response to a fake treatment, sugar pill, right? Same result, different stimuli. Why is that? Why? Well, you've got what's called a placebo and you've got a nocebo. Psychological factors such as optimism, suggestibility, empathy, and neuroticism have been linked to placebo effects, while pessimism, anxiety, and catastrophizing have been associated to nocebo effects. I should have practiced those words. But what that means is a change in our emotional state impacts the end goal of the experiment. The nocebo effect. Expectation of pain or negative effects of a treatment, even when inert, they don't mean anything, increases the chances people will feel them. On the left here, this might hurt or have side effects. Here, take it. This might hurt. On the right side, I feel rubbish already. Yeah? So this is the power of the brain, of unconsciously or consciously focusing on a specific outcome, consciously or unconsciously, right? So this is super, super important. So what does this mean? This means that we are part of a construct. We're part of this incredible life reality that is malleable and it changes based on how we think. And so last little principle here, and we'll move on from focus. This is called the conservation of energy principle. So what this means is when you roll a toy car down a ramp and it hits a wall, the energy is transferred from kinetic energy to potential energy. How many of you have been bowling before? 10-pin bowling? This is the same thing. The law of conservation of energy. So energy is transferred from one ball to the pins. The energy isn't lost. It just goes somewhere else. This is how everything's all interconnected. Yeah? Or this experiment where you see the ball tick, 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 tick. The energy is always moving. And so what this means is don't take for granted that what you're focusing on every day doesn't change your reality. Like every single day, the words, the thoughts, and actions every single day ripples into everything around us. And so there's an amazing video. This is the double slit experiment fully explained that I linked before. I'll link it somewhere around this video or send it to you guys after on the email. So our reality certainly looks like the work of a game engine, doesn't it? This might make you think that our world is run like a game on a computer. The computer powers not enough to calculate the motion of each and every particle, so it uses a simplified model and applies concise calculations only if the observer needs to look at the particle, so as to not break the illusion of the reality. Obviously, this video explains it a lot more effectively with the visuals and things, but this is what I'm talking about, guys, is that when we focus on something, if we focus on the problem, we're going to create more problems. If we focus on the solution, we're going to create more solutions. So one of my favorite Matthew Bible verses, 6:33, is, "But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you." So looking at the world we live in today, a lot of people are seeking the answers and finding and seeking the answers in the wrong place. And so my solution to this, guys, is start journaling. And journal just for 3 minutes. Try this for 30 days. Write down your gratitudes, write down your goals, write down your prayers, write down your whatever it is. Just get into that habit of expressing yourself and getting clear and perfecting the muscle of thinking, focusing, writing, and that relationship that we have. There's an amazing philosophy called morning pages, which is like, in the morning before you get up, just write and just see what comes. Stream. Why am I writing this right now? This is silly. Oh, I'm here in my bed. I'm really grateful for this, or whatever comes to mind. Stream, and that's a very powerful process. And so this is a simplified version of it, just to journal however you like at any time of the day. Super powerful. So that's biohack. Number 4, we're looking at biohack number 4. We're going to focus on now movement and moving. So why is this important? I like to start with why, because when I know the reasons why things are important, I feel like it helps me, gives me reason, and my logical mind backs it up, right? Especially when the emotions of like, oh, it's too hard, it's too cold, or oh, I'm tired right now. If I can know the reasons why, it pushes me through those emotional states, and we're mainly governed by our emotions. So why is movement important? So how do you feel when you move your body? Okay, so this is the book I highly recommend everyone get, or audio book, or check it out on YouTube. Dr. Jerry Tennant, Healing is Voltage. The body is a portable electrical device, he says. This is groundbreaking stuff. This blew my mind when I researched it. The body is a portable electric device. Let me just let that sit in for a second. Land. What does that mean? The body is a portable electric device. We spoke about the water in the body being batteries, right? And there are also 5 other batteries in the body. Dr. Jerry Tennant, this is the video. You'll love it. Physics of Emotions, 2017. Check that out. I'll send this on the email as well if you like, or I'll put it somewhere around this video if you're seeing it online. Number 1 battery pack in the body are our muscles. This is an amazing phenomena called piezoelectricity. When you have a crystal quartz and you have metal and you scrape the metal along the crystal quartz, or with a hammer, you hit the crystal quartz, the metal hammer, it creates electricity. Isn't that crazy? Creates electricity? What? So this happens in our body. But instead of the crystal quartz being the crystal quartz, it's our bones. Remember how before I said that we're made of water crystals and elements from the periodic table and nature and minerals and all the things? This is the same here. Our bones act as the crystal, and our muscles move around the bones and create electricity. This is why we feel so good when we exercise. This is better energy than a coffee, right? Any stimulant. When you go for a walk, or how good do you feel walking in nature, going for a run, or doing some gym? I never regret a good gym workout, especially when I ground myself as well. Number 2 battery is our fascia. So the fascia is the white stringy stuff that connects our body. It's kind of like it's beneath the skin, and it holds us together to make sure our body doesn't fall apart. Think of that as the wiring system in the body. Number 3 are our cells. Now, think about our cells. We have, 70 trillion or so of them. But what are our cells floating in and contained of? Mostly water. But what type of water, guys? EZ, exclusion zone water. Hopefully this is connecting the dots for you right now. Our muscles moving, right? Our cells based in this water and the fascia. This is all creating the electrical wiring system of our body, just like your house, just like your car, just like a plane, right? There's electrical wiring, and those are our muscles and our fascia and our cells, like a battery. Yeah, this is how our body works, and we get that through sunlight that we mentioned before. Number 4 is mitochondria. This is what our mitochondria look like. Obviously, they look completely different, the real look of them. But what I would like to show you here is the process of the mitochondria is what's called the Krebs cycle. And the Krebs cycle is what's called the cellular respiration. So we breathe, but also our cells breathe in a specific way. And it has a lot to do with mitochondria. And guess what? What's on the inside of the mitochondria is water. Is it all making sense now? Our whole body is a battery. Also, number 5 is our DNA. Our DNA, double helix, scalar waves. This is how our body also generates electricity and magnetism and creates the beautiful experience we have in our body is through our DNA. Also researched Dr. Robert Becker. He was able to grow back arms of frogs using microcurrent. It took a whole year, but they cut a frog's leg off. They stuck microcurrent to it, and they regenerated the bones and the ligaments and everything because they were inspired by salamander lizards. Salamander lizards, when you cut their tail or their leg off, it grows back. But frogs, that doesn't happen. So he studied this. That book is Body Electric is it's quite a read. So maybe listen to some of the stuff, audios before buying it, but it's amazing at what they were doing with microcurrent. So that's what we have the capabilities of in our body. I'm not saying that you can regenerate a limb. Or am I? I don't know. Maybe we just haven't figured it out yet. Maybe we haven't actually been able to expose ourselves to this research. I don't know. But there's a lot to say about the importance of electricity in the body, whether it's our own natural connected body or also using devices, right? I have multiple frequency machines. So that's obviously a really bad image, guys. But yeah, that's the growth of the limb and it grew bones, tendons, everything perfectly. It took a whole year for the frog, but it's a miracle. It really is. So this is why I chose number 4 being move. Exercise or stretch your body 2 times a day. One must be outside. So whether it's in the morning, afternoon, lunchtime, whenever it is, do a bit of stretching, do a bit of movement. Don't be hard on yourself. You don't have to smash yourself at the gym, cause a bunch of cortisol through your body. Keep it simple. Yeah. Number 4, get it done. Now, number 5. What is biohack number 5? These are going to get more and more juicy and exciting. So let's jump into it. Biohack number 5 is ground, right? Connect your feet or body to the earth. You can grab a tree. You can jump in the ocean. You can have a shower. Like there's multiple ways of grounding your body. Now, why is this important? So connecting our feet to the earth allows us to discharge any positively charged electrons. Positively charged electrons come from toxins, the EMFs that we're experiencing right now, touching our computers and stuff. It creates more positive charge in the body. And there's a lot. It kind of, I don't know, I feel it. At the end of the day, sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so zapped. So what do? You connect your sole of your feet, or the sole, to the earth, or it could be a finger. You could, I don't know, you could do whatever you wanted to do with it. But as long as you connect, it discharges the positively charged electrons, and it brings in negatively charged electrons back into the body. Back to this example, right? If we look at the electrical system of the building or the lights in your house right now, how does it work? We have the light bulbs, we have the electrical box, and we also have a grounding cable. All electricity is grounded. Why is our body any different? It's not. If you're not grounding every single day, see that little emoji, right? That's one of my other favorite emoji, is to then ground your feet to the earth. This helps your electrical voltage, slows down aging. You can check out all the science. There's an amazing documentary, Earthing movie, or the book, and you can check it out online. But here's a couple of benefits. It improves your mood. Think of all the mental health issues we have today. It's just stored energy and it's just like stuck in our mind. It helps our sleep. It helps pain, recovery, stress, wound healing, immunity, inflammation, jet lag, right? It just helps us be a nicer human with the people around us. So when you've got shoes on, Mr. Shoes here on the left and Mr. Barefoot on the right, there's a difference. Now, we're not going to go into the importance of 0 point energy and getting into the zone and feeling like a flow state, which I know we would like to, and that can be maybe another webinar, masterclass. But what we're looking at right now is discharging all that energy, pent up energy, out into the body, into the earth, which is abundant, and recharging our body and coming 0 volts in our body, which is what we want. We don't want excess energy. Yeah, we want to be able to discharge that. It's kind of like recycling. We want to recycle that energy out. How cool is this? When you look at a tree, they say about 2/3 of the tree is grounded. It's the root system. It goes down. It's interconnected. They're all sharing. It's a decentralized system. Nature is decentralized. There's no central place that the trees outside get their energy. They get their energy from sharing it, from sunlight, through photosynthesis, right? The water, the sunlight. It's all a combination of everything. Everything that's man-made, anything that's man-made that's centralized education, monetary system, medical industry, all those things, they're man-made, and that's not going to last long term. And so the only true timeless structure that will live on beyond us will be a decentralized approach. And so this is why everything I'm sharing with you today is a decentralized, is empowering you to empower your health and wellness and everyone around you through these simple strategies, rather than relying on the centralized systems for the ultimate truth. They all have a time. There's also a place for them and benefit. I'm just saying it's maybe 100th on the list. Let's do a few of these strategies before relying on the centralized systems. This is going to blow your mind. Have you guys heard of electroculture? Electroculture is the lost farming technology. Have you ever seen watermelons that big? Or what's that, a cabbage, an onion? I've never seen it that big, right? Personally, but I've seen images, and I've been to like the Royal Show and the Sydney Easter Show and the Echo Show, these trade shows, and I've seen big, pumpkins and stuff. I never understood why until now. So this is called electroculture. 3 steps. Moisten the soil, drill a hole about 2 to 3 inches deep, and you put a rod in there. Insert the electroculture copper antenna into the hole. This literally takes the energy out of the ionosphere, or out of the ether of the atmosphere, and shoots it into the ground, and it grows fruits and veggies, plants, anything bigger, healthier, all the things. Amazing. Put the word amazing in there if you think it's amazing. I think that's next level. Yes, you need fertilizer and water your plants, but adding this in, it's so simple and cheap, dramatically improves the quality and the size of the fruits and veggies. We're looking at inflammation in the body. The root of all disease is an inflammation in some way, shape, or form. On the left-hand side, you've got more of the red, which is an inflammation. There's a heat, right? We're going to talk about inflammation in a moment. And then you've got 4 nights on the right side, sleeping grounded. How good do you feel when you camp? You go camping, right? You have the best sleeps ever. So that's because we're grounded and we're not off the ground in high rises, etc., etc. We're also going to look at here the correlation or coincidence and the growth of disease, of diabetes specifically, and the growth of sales of shoes. Now, I'm not dissing shoes. I love shoes, okay? But I want us to acknowledge the fact that as we had a growth in the amount of people utilizing or wearing shoes and disconnecting our soul from the earth, we had a spike in diseases. Why is that? Because we have now more positively charged electrons in the body. We haven't discharged them as much, and it's pent up energy, and our body's electrical voltage goes down. And so this is an amazing chart. I don't know if you've seen that before, but I was like, I have to put this in here to show the importance of grounding. Yeah, I'll forget about it. It's too cold. I won't take my shoes off. I'll get dirty feet or whatever. That's like no go, right? That's just really shooting yourself in the foot, really shooting yourself in the foot if you do that, guys. So recap, connect your bare feet to the earth for minimum 30 minutes a day, right? If you can't do 30 minutes, that's fine. Just do what you can. Start small, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And if it's cold, it's going to be cold. It is. But your body will adapt. We're going to talk about adapting in a moment. All right, biohack number 6. We're on the final home stretch here, guys. This is all around growing. What's the importance here? When we stop growing, you start dying. Has anyone noticed that? If you don't use it, you lose it. Yeah, if you don't use it, you lose it. And so that's the truth, right? And I want to share with you why that's important and where that comes from. And so when we think about health and wellness, when we think about our body being made of energy, and we think about what's under the surface, I want to talk to you guys about cymatics. And so cymatics is a model describing the visual representation of sound. And so it's a vibrational phenomena, for example. You can see it in multiple things in nature, and you can actually create it artificially with speakers. Anyone at home could make it with a speaker and a certain technology to change the voltage and the hertz. It changes. So cymatics is the name given to a new form and science in which sound is made visible. This is achieved by imprinting its vibrations onto pure water, sometimes salt, or sometimes a mineral on a plate that vibrates, using a new type of instrument called a cymoscope. This is done traditionally on the left-hand side. You've got a metal plate, you've got a violin bow, and you've got a bit of a sand or salt or something on there, and you run the violin bow and it creates a certain hertz, a certain vibration. It creates then a geometric shape. In modern day, we do it electrically, and this is done on the right-hand side here. And so there's an amazing documentary. Definitely check it out online. Just type in cymatics documentary. It's mind-blowing. And so different hertz, 1033, 1820, 2041. All these different hertz have a different representation on physical form. Now, in the beginning, it said, in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God. What is word? It is sound. It's vibration. Can you see my voice? Some people can. It's called synesthesia. People see sound. It's actually a condition, but I don't. Most people don't. But this is a beautiful way of showing how vibration in all forms, musical instruments, hip hop music, right? Certain music will make you feel a certain way, is because it changes the crystalline water structure in our body. You could feel beautiful, happy, and peaceful listening to music, or you could feel angry and disturbed and frustrated. And there's an underlying tone to music sometimes. It's kind of like, yeah, they apparently changed the frequency of music to I don't know why, but they did. So this is also seen in nature, leopard prints, turtle shells, right? It's on water. Now our body is water. And this is found in nature, the torus field, the magnetic field of our, I guess you could say, aura or soul, bioenergetic field. You can see in apples, in the cells, in the earth, in stars, in tornadoes, in magnetism on the top left there. This is seen in nature. This isn't some woo-woo stuff. It's just you might have connected the dots how I am now. And so in nature, there's fractals. And so in nature, in geometry, in algebra, these are all patterns and formulas that are seen in from different vantage points. They're the same thing. There's certain structures of how the pyramids were built with the Fibonacci sequence. There are certain patterns of how our body is, even just closing your hand. If you close your hand like this and look, there's a spiral right there. This is in everything from nature, fruits and veggies, to our body, to the universe, to music, to even Forex trading and crypto. You'll see fractals in the charts. So this is God's fingerprint. This is the barcode of God, so to speak. And so where are the vibrations coming from? And when you think about it, for our health, first, the main thing that we want to focus on is think good, make good. Think good, make good. Yeah, thoughts. Our emotions, feel good, make good. Feel bad, make bad. Yeah, behavior, act bad, create bad. Act good, feel good, make good. So these fundamental, simple ways of looking at it, that when we boil it down, the thoughts, our emotions, remember before, each emotion is linked to different organs. Our behavior is a ripple through time and space. It can impact people, our thoughts. This is all a cymatic vibration. We just haven't been aware that these are actual, real, tangible vibrations impacting us. But now we're conscious of it. And they say, and the quote that I put on the 28A spreadsheet that you'll see, is a brain that is, once it's changed, it can't go back. It can't unlearn something, so to speak. And now you know. And so now it's your responsibility to action this every single day. No one's going to come knocking on our door and give you $1 million. No one's going to knock on your door and say, here's all the organic fruits and veggies. Maybe sometimes that might be really cool. Maybe if you win the lottery, but it's a very small probability of that. So we need to empower ourselves. We need to be our own best health coach, our own best lifeguard, our own best friend. I'm ranting here, guys. Yeah, you get the picture, right? So our magnetic field is impacted by the things that we spoke about, thoughts, words, and actions. In a state of fear, our energetic field is tiny, a little peanut. In a state of love, we have a megalodon, a huge whale, a massive presence. It's huge in a state of love. So this is a conscious choice. Nothing external can make or change how we feel internal. Sure, you can get slapped around and someone can say words to you and things like that. Yeah, that can have an impact. But we need to take responsibility for this. We need to stop blaming and being a victim and saying you, and start really looking ourselves in the mirror and realizing that it's us doing it. Think good, make good. Love versus fear. We know this. The heart is generated in the body and starts growing before any other organ in the body. Our heart is the compass. And in heart math, as I mentioned before, it has a sixth sense. It's connected. And, you have that inkling of, something bad's going to happen, or, a bit worried, or your intuition. It's usually your heart picking up on that, then going to the brain, or a gut feeling and then going to the brain, So these are important aspects of us realizing that we are an antenna to our environment, and we are one and the same. This is an amazing example. The South American Indians, for example, when they had super long hair, how some of those amazing men and women, they had these like super long hair, and the men specifically were trackers and hunters. And what they found is when they kind of merged with the white culture and whatnot, civilization, so to speak, they cut their hair off and they lost the ability to track. They lost the ability to have that spatial awareness in their environment, because the hair acts as an antenna. Think about it. Our hair is an antenna. It's part of our immune system. It's part of our body. The hair is us. All the men these days, right, shaving their chest and shaving their legs. Yeah, this is so backwards, each to their own, but just something to think about. We're looking at the frequency and heart rate of appreciation, and also the heart rate of frustration. And literally just holding your hands on your heart and breathing for 2 minutes and focusing on what you love and what you're grateful for will completely change our heart rate and our brain waves, and synchronize and cause coherence. So our heart, it's grown first as the fetus is growing. It's one of the most amazing organs we don't even understand. Here's an interesting fact about the heart. Our heart is one of the only organs that doesn't regenerate tissue. It only ever creates scar tissue if it's ever injured. And so the heart is super precious. It really is. It's that vibration that's beating every second of every day that we're alive, from the moment we're born, well, before that, and then to then being out to when we die. The heart is there. It's got your back. It's got your heart. And so when looking at different brain waves, different frequencies are linked to different brain waves. When we sleep, for example, when we're in focus mode, when we're in flow state, there's different frequencies. And so that's the importance of our environment, the EMFs, the phone that we're listening, we hold up to our ear, for example, right? The amount of radiation that impacts our brain waves, or even the fake light. That's why I have my blue blockers on. And here are my additions at nighttime. I put the darker lenses on, right? Little connection here, Viva Rays. I'll send this to everyone after the webinar as well. I'll put it around the video. These are my favorite, the click, and then there's also a darker one as well, even darker once again. So you wear them at nighttime. It helps the circadian rhythm. I'll explain it in a little bit. So what have we got here? Last couple of aspects. Learn. Right? The more that you read, the more things that you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. And so knowledge is power, and applied knowledge is even more powerful. And same thing with prayer. When we think about the intention, when we think about our brain waves, when we think about everything that we've been chatting about, it impacts the water, even prayer, right? Silence, conversation with you, your relationship with God, and sending out the energy that you like impacts the water dramatically. Yeah. So this is why monks or certain people come together and they all pray, and it literally moves mountains. It can heal people. It's these miracle remissions. Apparently people will come back to life, right, from praying. This is like miracles happen as a result of collective focus, observer effect, intention coming from that place and tapping into that frequency. It's life-changing. So what do we have here to cap this off? We have read every day for 10 minutes, grow the brain. If you don't want to read, you could pray, for example. Or if you don't want to pray, you could meditate. So I've got some options here. 10 minutes, if you don't have 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute, whatever it is. Just start every single day having this time for yourself to grow, to focus, to ground yourself. Biohack number 7. This is only just getting started, guys. Biohack number 7, we're looking at cold therapy. Now, this is something you've probably never heard about cold therapy before. All right. So Sirtuins are enzymes regulating the expression of genes that control the function of cells through key cellular signaling pathways. Have you ever heard of this before? So sirtuins focus and accumulate in the body, or are stimulated and produced in the body when we exercise, when we fast, when we expose ourselves to the cold, to the hot, and we get this dynamic range that we're going to talk about. This helps as an anti-aging, like an anti-aging serum for our liver, our muscles, our brain. Every part of our body is stimulated as a result of these sirtuins. So aging causes changes in the sirtuins function, and these changes contribute to the development of various diseases. So looking at it helps every part of our body: DNA damage, cellular respiration, epigenetics, thermogenesis, inflammation. Everything here is impacted as a result of this. So let me give you an example. Where does this come to play? Have you ever been driving in your car and the car overheats, right? And then I blew whatever it was, the radiator. I didn't put the radiator fluid in there, and it literally overheated. I broke down, and it cost me so much money to get it fixed. I didn't look after my car much in the beginning. And so there was all this smoke coming out. So I see smoke and there's this heat, and it's dangerous, right? The car was like, wow, this is going to explode. It's this heat and this flame. So how I see inflammation from my point of view is inflammation is heat. And so whether it's arthritis, right? The sore muscles, in the body, it's heat. Whether it's skin, acne, psoriasis, all the different skin disorders, it's a heat, right? There's inflammation. There's a unsettled, unharmonized area. I'm allergic to cats, for example, and I have a histamine response. So I need antihistamines to reduce the amount of inflammation because I'm just allergic to cats. Less and less over time, though. Gut health issues, inflammation, right? Gluten, sugar, alcohol, cigarettes, pharmaceuticals, tap water. These all things cause massive inflammation in the body. Heart disease, right? Myocarditis is going through the roof. It's inflammation, right? We're looking at brain health. Are mental health issues growing or declining? Unfortunately, they're going through the roof. So many young men commit suicide. Here in Australia, it's crazy. Even kids these days are doing it more than ever. This is a real pandemic, and it comes from an aspect of it is inflammation. Not all of it, but an aspect of it. So are mental health issues going through the roof? Yeah, they're absolutely going through the roof. Why? Because they say type 3 diabetes is inflammation, Alzheimer's, it's inflammation of the brain. It's just more fire. So what we're looking at right now, what's the solution? We're going to focus in on the mitochondria being the power plant of the body and the cells. And we have the most amount of mitochondria, guess where? Where are the two places in the body we have the most amount of mitochondria? The heart and the brain. We're looking at rises in heart disease, heart attacks, strokes. We're looking at massive amounts of mental health issues, Alzheimer's, dementia, memory issues, you name it. It's inflammation. And that's because the mitochondria mostly is stored in the brain. Makes sense. One of the most important organs. And the heart, one of the most important organs. So what's happening? Majority of people are doing things that's mutating and impacting the mitochondria of the brain and impacting the mitochondria of the heart. That's it. Oh, so maybe we just focus on improving the mitochondria and our brain health will be better and our heart health will be better. I think it's a good idea. There's a website. You can go to death meters. It's pretty full on. And you can see exactly the highest, where most people are dying. On the left-hand side, you're looking at strokes, right? Coronary artery disease. You've got pulmonary disease. You've got respiration tract infection, right? Top 4. Then on the left-hand side, Alzheimer's, number 4. Lung cancer, diabetes, road injuries. So the top diseases here, mainly of the circulatory system, the heart, and the brain. It's just so obvious. It's just, yeah. So looking at mental health, like in my family, there's been suicide, drug addiction, psychosis, all the things, anxiety, all the things. And so this has been my fascination because what we eat, how we think, the actions that we choose today impact our mental health and ripple into every area, right? If we're not in our fullest potential, it impacts other people. Because when I'm healthy and strong and rich and in my potential, I'm able to help more people. And so this is an opportunity for all of us to wake up, to say, hey, let's all help each other. If you need help, reach out, ask for help. It's not, especially for men, it's seen as weakness to ask for help, but it's actually power. It's all opposite. Find the problem, do the opposite. I don't want to share my feelings. No, that's the wrong way to do it. Share your feelings, get it off your chest, and let's do this together. Reach out anytime if anyone's looking for support, or if you need professional support, always seek professional support. So what is the solution, team? So you must create dynamic range. Remember I said if we don't use it, we lose it. If we just sat on the couch all day like a rubber band, we're just going to lose our muscle. We're just going to be fat and sick and, our body isn't stretched. But if you have a rubber band and you just leave it as a rubber band like that, over time, it's going to get dry and it's going to flake. You've seen rubber bands like this? So the key to a rubber band's health is to stretch it. Just stretch it, right? The same thing as with our health. This is called dynamic range. It's the difference between the greatest and smallest value. Small, big, small, big. And how powerful is a rubber band when you shoot it in one direction, right? I used to love playing that as a kid. So when looking at dynamic range, what else does this include? We're looking at cold on one spectrum. We're looking at hot on another spectrum. Now, people think, stress is like, it's a killer. And yeah, it can be if it's chronic and it's over a long period of time. But used stress, conscious stress, jumping in an ice bath, jumping in, having a cold shower, right? Putting yourself in a hot sauna, sprinting, picking up weights. This is creating dynamic range. And the stress, if you think about a diamond, diamonds are created under pressure. If you look at this as a katana, the katana is one of the strongest, most amazing swords ever created by the Japanese. And they create this through smelting the metal and pounding it over thousands and hundreds of thousands of times to create a strong metal sword, right? It can cut someone in half. It's amazing. And that's the power of stress when we learn how to utilize it. Most people just don't utilize stress consciously. What if you were to start to be conscious of it, putting yourself in a bit of hot and then a bit of cold, bit of hot, bit of cold. And you don't need to do 10 minutes of ice bath. You don't need to do 3-4 minutes. You just do 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Start slow and build yourself up. And in the sauna, same thing. You don't need to smash yourself at 70 degrees like I've done before, and it just puts my body into mass detox and I get sick. The key is baby steps. This is why gym is so important. Even if it's just the stretching or moving the body, we're looking at dynamic range. Again, if we don't use it, we lose it. We're looking at fasting. If we're just eating all day, every day, we're just going to keep putting a lot of energy in the body. We just don't need it. So to have times where we start to fast, extend, skip a meal, skip a day, skip 2 days. I recently did a 7-day fast. I've done a 14-day fast, done many 3-day ones and 5-day ones. I skip meals from time to time, and it's probably one of the best things I've ever done for my health. Women, it's slightly different with your hormones, so I don't recommend it for every female. But skipping a meal or a day, it's just, why not? That's creating this dynamic range. Sunlight, right? Light and dark. We are light beings. Apparently, there's more light on the inside of our body than there is in the sun. Crazy thought. But we are also beings of darkness. We need darkness at night, right? Right now, I'm not matching with nature, but I'm utilizing biohacks like the blue blockers and whatnot. But we need that dynamic range, light and dark. If you're just inside all day in an office, in a car, and in clothes all day, that's not dynamic range, guys. You need to get in the sun, get naked, right? Get your body a little bit tanned, a little bit pink, nothing too burnt, but you need to start creating more range. Otherwise, you're going to lose it. Cold therapy, right? When we looking at the cold, it stimulates the immune system. It creates alertness. It actually makes you more resilient to the cold. I've been starting to do ocean swims in the morning. Just 3 minutes, 5 minutes, like nothing too long. But I'm working my way up. It was a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Now it's like I could be there. And now I get excited to jump into the cold. I realized that cold was just in my mind. It's just a feeling I haven't experienced enough. Like Wim Hof, he does these massive hikes in the snow, jumps under the glaciers and holds his breath. He stretches his body, and that's why he's able to push away these normal diseases and stuff like that. We're looking at the hot, which relaxes the muscles, right? It really reduces inflammation, it helps anxiety, it soothes the body, and it allows us to sweat. Sweating, cold. This is dynamic range. Cold exposure benefits, the list just goes on and on and on, right? There's something amazing. And one of the main reasons I jump into the ocean now, guys, or even here in Tassie, it's the most cold showers I've ever experienced. I'll put it just for a few minutes on my brain, on my head. My head gets a brain freeze. It is so cold. I was like, I never thought that was possible, but I get a brain freeze from how cold the water is. And so the key to it is type 3 diabetes is brain inflammation, as I said before, Alzheimer's, memory issues and stuff. And so I choose consciously to put myself in the cold for reducing inflammation in my brain. I find my brain is firing on a new level when I get out of the cold water. And also it's a fat loss strategy of mine. So it helps to pull out the brown fat. So it's increased brown adipose tissue. So it helps to burn the fat as well. Fat that's around our organs or deep inside the body. It pulls that inflammation out. You can imagine pulling the heat out of the body, and the body starts to run more effectively. Similarly, if you have a car, that first image, if your car is overheating and it's shooting steam and gas, the car's broken down. It's going to break down. The body's the same. We need to reduce that inflammation, that heat, and your body's going to function more effectively. So this is why I added to the 28A, which is around have a 1 minute cold shower or plunge every day. Now, 1 minute might be too much. Just start with 5 seconds. And then the next week, do 10 seconds. And then a week later, do 15 seconds. Like, work your way up. Don't expect your beginning to be someone else's middle or end. These people you might see doing the ice bars, don't go smash yourself 5 minutes in the ice bath, 10 minutes, and cause, more issues than you thought. So this is why here, guys, the cold is the second last one. And I want to add here, see the quote that I put under here? The mind, once stretched by a new idea, never returns to its original dimension. Ralph Waldo Emerson. So the key here is that once you've learned this, we can't unlearn it. And my wish and my suggestion is that you utilize this yourself and teach it to someone else. Gosh, this is a lot, guys. I wasn't expecting it to go this long. Let me be honest with you. It's like 2 hours. Let me just cap it off with biohack number 8. This is actually really important, and it's super relevant right now if it's nighttime for you, because this is all around what's called light hygiene. Let me put my blue blockers back on. Light hygiene. Well, we have hygiene when we wash ourselves, right? That's all the hygiene, killing the bacteria and washing the body, how good we feel. And the other element of this is light hygiene. It's a respect of the light experience and the light environment of your life. We're going back to this image. I love this image. Up with the sun, down with the sun. Right now it's evening time here in Tasmania, and the sun is definitely down. It's dark outside. So what I'm doing right now with the light on here for the lighting, the light here, the computer, this is mismatching from nature. So I've got my blue blockers on, for example. But the other thing, which I spoke about the importance of phones, I'm going to teach you a couple of things here. So looking at where is the mismatch, right? Unless you're living on the land, camping, or off the grid, you're connecting your feet to the earth all day, every day, and you've got no fake light, then yeah, if you're doing that, respect to you, absolutely amazing. If you're not, then we need to understand where the mismatch is. So the mismatch is, for example, in our bed at nighttime or in the morning, looking at our phone. Step number 1. When we think about our phone, and you look at the brightness. So I can change the brightness of my phone right here, up, down, up, down. When you go 100% bright like this, and you take off all the filters, it mimics 6,000 to 6,500 Kelvin as a light reading, which is 12 o'clock. But if you have that when it's nighttime now, bright lights on the eyes, what's happening? It's telling my brain with this light, I'm going to take the light mode, the filter off for a second. See how it gets a bit brighter? That's telling my brain that it's 12 o'clock noon, lunchtime, right now. But my environment is outside 10 o'clock p.m. This is called mismatching. So you get blue blocking glasses, easy fix. You start putting your filters on your phone, and you do dark, the red light, and you start reducing the blue light like this. Easy fix. Gym, right? The gym is another one. Going to the gym at nighttime or first thing in the morning, and you've got fake lights on and you're smashing yourself in the gym. I don't recommend it personally. I feel it exhausts me and I get mad anxiety if I keep doing that consistently. Easy fix. Train outside. Take your shoes off, right? Grounding, easy. Take your shoes off where you can. Sunlight, sunglasses, take them off, and at nighttime put these on. If you're going to be on a boat fishing all day and in glare, use sunnies. That makes sense. Supermarkets, shopping in the supermarket. I always have my hat and my blue blockers on, even when I go to buy food. And also the rat race, right? Where there's so much that, myself included as an entrepreneur, working late, working around the clock, on technology, touching tech, all these different things. We just have to be aware of it. So this is where we're mismatching, all the mismatch. And when we look at the phone, the light spectrum of a candle, for example, on the left side is 1,000 Kelvin. When, say, you look at the very middle, sun, lunchtime, 5,000 to 6,000, right? This is all about being conscious of the light in our environment, specifically the phone. Yeah, our smartphone is usually a dumb phone with how we use it these days. So we're looking at changing the light and being aware of the light hygiene with our phone, which we use every single day. This is mismatching. Yeah. So we're looking at the red light versus the blue light. The blue light, specifically during the day, it's a white light. We just say it's blue light because it's just easier to kind of comprehend as a color. The blue light specifically penetrates deeper into the eye. This makes total sense. As we're created, we need light to give us energy. Yeah, we need light to go through the eyes to communicate to our brain and our whole system that it's daylight. And when it's daylight, our body creates more of the things that keep us awake, right? In the morning, first thing, when you look at the light, your body creates more cortisol to keep us awake as well. This is a natural cycle. And in the afternoon, we need darkness to create more melatonin to keep us relaxed, to allow us to sleep. Where do we get the melatonin from? Sunlight. Sunlight from outside. Taking our clothes off and getting as much sun boosts the amount of melatonin. So many people go into the health food stores, they buy melatonin supplements and sprays and creams. You can do it naturally by getting more sun, and it boosts your hormones and a bunch of other things, right? So that's really important to realize, is that we need these blue blockers to block out the blue light at nighttime. If you have dry eyes, sore eyes, headaches, migraines, learning difficulties, like not sleeping very well, it could be most probably coming from the light hygiene that you're choosing every single day. And so it's simple to fix. Get blue blockers, get a filter, get Flux on your computer. Flux is a free one, or Iris Tech. Go online, $20 lifetime, and you get a filter for your computer, and it changes depending on the day and what you're doing. This is about being conscious. Getting, for example, I don't need to go into the impacts of blue light, but it impacts our memory. It makes it harder to learn. If you ever forget names, you're being forgetful during the day. If you're putting on weight and you don't know why, this can even lead to cancers, cataracts, retina damage. Blue light is amazing, but just not at nighttime. Don't combine daytime things with nighttime things, right? Daytime, nighttime, daytime, nighttime. Make sure that you have a respect for the darkness and a respect for the light, and don't combine them. This is mismatching. Yeah, there are boundaries that God and our universe has created that allow us to maximize this experience on this earth. You're here for a reason. If you were dead, I guess your purpose was completed. But if you're alive right now, there's a purpose and a reason you're here. And we need to start being conscious of it so we can really maximize our time. Because by us not living into our potential, it doesn't just slow down your own evolution. It slows down other people's evolution as well. It's actually really selfish to not look after your health. It impacts your family, your friends, your loved ones, the community, the causes that you want to improve upon in the world. We can collectively make massive change in this world. I'm speaking to the choir here. You guys get what I'm saying, but it's so important that we really start to respect these natural laws of the universe. So what is the solution, right? Blue blocking glasses, easy fix, done. At nighttime, red light candles, salt lamps, fire, all these different things, easy to use. Being aware at nighttime of your phone and during the day, and utilizing the technology in a bit more of a conscious way. That's really, really important. The question is all light made equal? No. You're looking at a fire on the left-hand side. You're looking at a halogen globe, man-made on the right side. It's not all equal. I had someone who goes, oh yeah, in the morning I get up and I put my fake light on and I'm like, yeah, I've got the sunrise and I'm there and I've got my light there. And I said, no, it's not the same. You can't just put your light on and expect it to be the same benefits as the sun. So natural, organic, matching with nature, always better. Matching on the left, mismatching on the right. Are we evolving or devolving? I'll let you be the judge. Technology literally is blocking out our connection with nature, with God, with the real purpose of why we're here. We have to be really careful not to be blindsided and distracted by these shiny objects literally in our hands. The iPod in the Matrix, when Neo breaks out of the pod in the Matrix, and he's got those tubes that are connected to him, he's in that solution, he's naked and the robots are there, and he gets disconnected and he gets sucked back into the real world. He was in a pod. And what do we have in our pockets all day, every day, right? The iPod on our phone. So we are living in the matrix, guys. We need to choose to break free. And this is really my wish today, is I'm giving you guys another choice, the blue pill or the red pill. I'll finish on this. This is the allegory of the cave, Plato's allegory of the cave. This is 380 BCE. Look at this. On the left-hand side, you've got the slaves. You've got the slaves looking at the horse and the dog, or the wolf, or whatever it is. And that's their entertainment. And in today's day and age, it's kind of like we're the slaves. And we've got this phone, and we're given what to look at on TikTok, Instagram, social media, news, on television, right? In the newspapers, we're given information. And behind the information are these people holding the shadow puppets. The fire is in the middle, creating the shadows. But some of these prisoners and some of these slaves have escaped. They've woken up. They've taken the red pill, so to speak, and they've walked out and they've started to see the sun, look, for the first time. This is what we're living through right now. We're living through this exact thing and concept and philosophy that Plato told us hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, right? That we can now bring context to today. So this is why the last one is light hygiene. Reduce fake light at night. Instead, use a candle, salt lamp, or a red light panel. Be creative. Start being aware of your light hygiene, and every part of your health will improve. So I want to quickly end here. I want to talk about one. I shared the bonus hack already. So what we've covered today is a lot, right? We've covered sunlight, hydration, focus, movement, grounding, growth, cold, light therapy. And I want to invite every single one of you guys, I'm going to put it into the chat here, to this 28A. And if you go through for the first time, if you just joined us, the link will be here somewhere around the video. You can download it, print it off, have this on the fridge, find an accountability buddy, do this with a friend, do this with someone from work, whatever it is. Utilize these principles and just, please utilize them. Like, just take them and create and share them with other people. That's what this is all about. And then every single one of you that is here today, I'm also going to give you guys a 30-minute coaching session. So I'm just finding the link and I'm going to put it into the chat, or I'll put it somewhere around this video. So if anyone wants a personalized one-on-one complimentary free biohacking discussion with me, put it into the chat here as well. And yeah, here it is. Just speak with me via Zoom privately for 30 minutes, and we can dive into your current health situation, what you're wanting to improve, what might be working, what might not be working. And yeah, I can share with you more of a personalized, tailored approach there, guys. So that's it from me. Thank you all so much for jumping on here. Please take this information, share it with other people. I will get the recording for some of you that would like it, and for the people that missed. But without further ado, go forth, prosper, keep biohacking, you fellow awesome biohackers. And I look forward to seeing all your amazing transformations and results